Okay, so we are doing our restorative class. We will begin supine. We'll be doing more gentle flowing stuff. There we go. So we can take our time here to get into a comfortable position. Traditionally in yoga, you know this, we lie on our mats on our backs with our arms and legs wider than the mat. But we don't have to be traditional or conventional. We can, of course, do what feels right. And that will be a vein through our entire class today. Do what feels right. Do what feels the most beneficial for you here today. The same way we can never step in the same river twice, our bodies are never the same from one day to the next. So there will be fairly typical poses that we'll do, and maybe today it'll feel better to do them in a different way than you normally do them. Or I invite you to have some variety into your life, doing them in a different way than you would normally do them, okay? So take what you like, leave what you don't. Let's think of this time together as nourishment, not exercise. So of course we'll be moving and breathing together, but let's picture ourselves nourishing our muscles, our joints, our cardiovascular system, and even our minds. And let's begin with our breath. Even though we are lying on our backs, we may like to bring hands to belly or a hand to belly and chest to be more in tune with our breath. And we'll start with a 3-part breath that I'll offer you. You may have a preferred breath practice, by all means, go for it. So our 3-part breath, we imagine that we are filling our lungs from bottom to top, the same way we'd fill a glass of water. Inhaling, noticing movements of belly, sides of the waist, imagining that we can breathe into our low backs. Next, feeling our ribs expand, front, side, and back. And finally, feeling our chest, upper back, shoulder blades, and even collarbones move with our breath. As we exhale, letting all this go. And we can think of our breathing as a practice of receiving and letting go. Inhaling, we accept the nourishment of oxygen. And exhale, we release to make space for something new. If we're too concerned with giving away or holding on, then we really aren't breathing, are we? We may like to use counting to help focus our minds. Inhaling, 1, 2, 3. Exhaling, 3, 2, 1. Filling our lungs, bottom to top. Allowing for the flow of receiving and letting go. And we may have an intention we would like to set for our time here together. Repeating that to ourselves in a positive language. start to welcome some movement into our bodies. So from supine, letting our bodies tell us how we're ready to start moving. Maybe drawing knees to chest, turning the head side to side. And we'll begin with what I call banana asana. So we're doing a lateral reach. We can walk our feet to the right side of the mat and walk our hands to the right side of the mat. Coming into a gentle lateral stretch. So we've now opened the left side of the body. Noticing that expansion in the left side of the rib cage. Let's give it another breath in and out here. And we're ready for the other side. We'll go ahead and walk the feet over to the left, walking hands over to the right. Breathing into our newfound expansion in the right side of the body. We're noticing how grounded our pelvis feels here. Really solid, connected to the earth. Let's take another breath. We'll bring it back to center. And let's invite some movement into the pelvis. So now we're going for mobility. We'll draw knees to chest. We can give ourselves a big hug. And it might feel good for each knee to get its own circle. We can go one way then the other. Noticing where you feel this in your individual body for today. So sometimes this can give us clues for where we're holding tension, give us some insights about our physical body, or where we hold stress, our mental, emotional body. We're just making note of it. There's no real good or bad. We're practicing our powers of observation. It's all just information. And when we're ready, we'll bring our legs back through center. We're just going to let our feet go. Wherever they land is absolutely perfect. We can take arms alongside the body, maybe tucking shoulder blades under the back. Let's let those legs windshield wipe. We can think of this as listening to the body. We are listening to our hips. What messages are they sending us today? How can we respond appropriately? Maybe just for today, doing this in a slightly different range of motion. Might feel really nice to pick a small range of motion, maybe more stable through our core. If we normally do this more slowly, we could do it more vigorously. Noting what qualities you already have and seeing if we can find something a little different. Maybe pausing to one side and pausing to the other side. We can butterfly the knees open and closed a few times as well. Do the same movement with our arms, giving a hug, and then opening to T or cactus. can draw knees to chest. Again, we might like to do a circle, both knees together this time instead. We can give our ankles a circle. Wiggle our toes. And we can let our feet go. Ideally, hips, knees, and heels are all in line. We might even like to sneak a peek so that we're not knocking in or butterflying open, but we're super stacked, solid, and strong. We can walk our shoulder blades under our backs again, for a little bit more chest opening. We can dig our triceps down, spread our fingers wide, starfishing our hands on the mat. We can starfish our feet as well. Let's go through our bridge flow here. So we're inhaling up to lift the hips, length from knees to shoulders in the front of the body. And then as we exhale to lower, we're resisting gravity, lots of strength here. Let's go with that flow. And if we'd like to add opposite arms, we can. So hips up, arms down. Arms up, hips down. Inhaling to lift, feeling expansion. Exhaling to lower, contraction, super strong here. Let's give it one more here. Save the best for last. And then as we lower down, again inviting some movement into the body. So that might be a long stretch, windshield wipe, a little bit of a twist. And then let's go ahead and meet in baby pose. So we can pick our favorite side to lie on. Baby pose remind us to honor, love, and accept our bodies where we are right now, and at the same time, leaving space for growth and transformation. When we're ready, we can walk our hands around to the top of the mat and settle back into child's. Come back to our breath again here, noticing now expansion in the back of the body. We'll go ahead and come to all fours. And we probably know this one well, right? Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Spreading our fingers wide, we can press the tops of the feet down for added stability. And we'll move through cat and cow. Again, let's think of this as nourishment for the body. So we inhale to prepare. Exhale, we are drawing our bellies in, pressing the mat away. We arch backs to sky. Stretching the muscles of the back of the body, contracting our abdominals. Let's pause and hold a couple breaths. Maybe taking eyes to thighs. And we'll reverse that movement, nourishing our spine in the opposite direction. Stretching our bellies long. Reaching hearts forward, sliding shoulder blades down into our back pockets. And we might even want to check that the back of the neck is pretty smooth here. We don't want to have that kink in the neck. Let's smooth it out. Still starfishing our hands, pressing the tops of our feet down. Let's do one more round of breath here. And we're ready to flow. again, we can match breath to movement in cat and cow. We've probably done this a million times before. Inhaling, expanding in the chest in cow. Exhaling, contracting the belly in cat. And we may notice that our breath is backwards from that, and that's okay too. It's not good or bad, it's information coming out from our bodies. We can choose to go with it, lean in, listen to the body, or we can choose to shape it and do a more typical exhale cat, inhale cow. Let's pause there again in this kind of positive, upbeat, confident posture. And then we'll come back into neutral. Well, let's do what we sometimes call an Uddiyana action. Not quite as intense as our breath of fire, but we're going to exhale and pull our abdominal muscles in. So we can inhale to prepare, and exhale, really draw belly in. Inhale, we release. And exhale, we contract. So we're doing all fours crunches, kind of. Using our breath to wake up our core muscles and activate. We can add a pelvic floor lift, our Mula Bandha, or you may know it as a Kegel exercise as well. So we inhale to prepare, strong all fours position. Exhale, we draw the belly button in and lift up through the pelvic floor. If this is new to you, we can even take one hand to belly. That makes it unbalanced, makes it more of a challenge. We can switch sides. And if we're unfamiliar with the pelvic floor, it's most often described as sort of a diamond-shaped group of muscles between our pubic bone and our tailbone. We can think of it as a hammock that holds up our internal organs. I like to think of it as the pyramid of our core. So we have at the bottom of our core, our pelvic floor, we sometimes call our pelvic core. This is our Kegel exercise, our lift internally. And then on top of that, we have all our various other abdominal muscles. There is argument that our pelvic floor is the most important of all our core muscles. And let's not forget our backs, drawing in our back muscles as well. And we are ready to add on. Inhaling to prepare. Exhaling, let's tap fingertips to opposite shoulder. So we're getting ready for our spinal balance with a small range of motion. If we like, we can make this bigger, adding our opposite foot, tapping back, right hand to left shoulder, left leg kicks back. We might like a more typical spinal balance, reaching forward or lifting upward. Matching breath to movement. Maybe we picture nourishing our muscles with oxygen. All right, if we remember which side we started on, let's finish on the opposite side. Yogi's choice, we can rest back into child's, or we can tuck toes and lift into downward dog. Whichever pose we pick, child's or down dog. Again, let's invite some movement into our bodies. Do we want to take our hips side to side? In child's, we could walk our fingers side to side for more lateral flexion. In down dog, are we walking out our dog, starfishing our hands and feet, wagging our tails, maybe lifting one leg at a time? drop knees if we're in down dog. We'll all come to lie on our bellies. So we did a lot of work warming up the front of our core. Let's think about the back of our core here. So we'll plant feet flat. Let's take our thumbs to our shoulders. And we're gonna flow here. So we're inhaling into cobra. We exhale to lower, and then let's lift just one foot. Inhale to lift the right foot, and then the left. And then we're back to cobra. So cobra, and then locust legs. Waking up strength in the back of the body. A great way to remind ourselves that we have our own backs, right? We are our own internal support system. Pointing our feet here. Using our glutes to engage that lift. And we can still have that Uddiyana action. So even though our bellies are against the mat, we can imagine maybe that it's a little cold on the mat and we're pulling our abdominal muscles away, lifting up through our pelvic floor. And if we don't know where to put our hands in locust, maybe we could leave our thumbs on our shoulders, or we could stack fists under forehead. Let's go through a couple more rounds of this. And usually the idea when we warm up is to inhale with the lift for more of an activated, lifted feeling. And then when we're ready, we can press up and back. Let's pause for a moment in all fours, noticing how our backs are feeling. Again, this is information coming up from the body. So our backs might feel like we want to do a little pause in all fours, or after all of that arching, maybe we want some rounding, sort of halfway between child's and cat pose. Listening to our bodies, letting go of any kind of judgment, competition, or expectation, and responding accordingly to get the most nourishment, the most benefit. We may like to pause, child's or downward facing dog, but we are ready to make our way towards mountain pose. Don't let me rush you to get there. Eventually, let's meet at the top of our mats in mountain. Tall standing posture. Let's bring hands to heart, along with the shoulders. Inhaling up, exhaling down. We may like to close the eyes here. Checking in with how we're feeling head to toe. We can choose a word or several words to describe how we feel. We can pause at heart center with our thumbs against our chest. See if we can feel our heartbeat, our internal drum beat. Again, more information coming up from the body. We're ready? If our eyes are closed, let's open them, and we'll step back to face the long edge of the mat for sunflowers and moonflowers. So keeping in mind this is our restorative practice, we are nourishing, we are treating our bodies with care. We can inhale up and out into a 5-pointed star, and exhaling we're lowering down into moon. Let's flow with that. Maybe we'd like to add a positive affirmation to our practice today. Inhaling up, I am worthy. Exhaling down, I am enough. Choosing words that feel like a good fit for us, right? It should feel believable. And if we enjoy the movement, we're more likely to believe the words. If we believe the words, we're more likely to enjoy the movement. So feel free to change the words to suit your needs and change the movement to suit your needs. Option for sunflowers here. Hinging forward from the hips, long, tall spine. Maybe we want to alternate back and forth between sun and moon. A good reminder that within each of us, we have both the qualities of the sun and the moon, right? Light and dark, hot and cold. Fiery and mysterious. Let's open up into our 5-pointed star. Flip palms up to face the sky. Pull thumbs back for a little more chest expansion. We can drop into our moon god legs for more lower body strength. We might like to give the shoulders a couple of rolls or turn the head side to side to loosen up any tension in the neck. For a balance challenge, we could lift one heel at a time. Maybe some popping in the ankles, that's okay. Let's take one more breath into our hearts. We can inhale, sweep the arms up. We'll bring hands to heart, and let's step to the top of the mat. We'll come into standing camel here. Let's start with a flow. So we'll make a fist, and rather than going right into camel, we're going to flow our camel. So I'm going to lift my heart as I pull the elbows back, drawing shoulder blades together, and then just release into neutral. So I can inhale to pop the chest, and exhale to release. So if we were in a strength training class, we'd probably have those stretchy bands, or if we were at the gym, we'd have the row machine. Let's use our internal strength here to create this sensation. We don't have a heck of a lot of movement going on in the pelvis. We have more of that inner self-esteem lifting us up. All right, let's pull back super strong. Check in with our pelvic core. Is it helping us with that uplifted sensation? We might even want to press tongue to the roof of the mouth. We might notice our eyebrows try to lift. We can relax our faces. Let's draw fists to the back of our pelvis. We're keeping our pelvis fairly neutral as we continue to lift heart to sky. And that great little check-in, let's make sure we can comfortably swallow to know that our heads are in a pretty okay alignment. We'll release back to neutral. Another moment for positivity. Let's give ourselves a thumbs up. Reaching forward and then hitchhiking our thumbs back to the wall behind us. We can stay here for chest expansion if we like. We can leave our hands open for chest expansion for a strength feeling like we just had. If we want to interlace, fantastic. But again, I invite you to try some variety today. So if you always interlace, maybe doing something else. We could hold our pant legs as just something else to hold on to, or depending on how long your shirt is, hold the bottom of your shirt. Option to stay here or to add this to our forward fold. We can give the head a gentle shake. And then let's release our hands down to the mat. And we'll go ahead and let's take the left foot back for today into a warrior one. So we can use our hands to steady us on the floor. We can use our hands to steady us climbing up our thigh. Of course, if ever we needed help with our balance, we could be near a wall or a chair. If we know our warrior one, let's find a way to do it to feel good. Maybe hands to heart to be more in tune with our heartbeat for today. We're going to pivot open to the side of the room. Maybe we want more space between the front and back foot so we can drop lower into warrior two. If we'd like a more restorative warrior two, we don't have to go so deep. We can take hand over foot, shoulders down and back. Let's keep our legs exactly as they are. We're going to slice our upper body front and back. So if we look, we can see, oh yeah, okay, my legs are staying exactly where they belong. And let's reach all the way forward. We're reversing our warrior, reaching all the way back. For a little variety today, maybe we're turning to look towards the back hand instead of the front. We'll take hands to hips. Let's straighten the front leg. We're ready for triangle. Let's add a little attitude to it, lengthening the inner front thigh, taking our tailbone to point away from the front of the mat, and then coming as low as we like in triangle. Maybe for today, we make it more like a side plank feeling, so we don't have to touch the floor. We can come up high enough to feel our core kick in, and we can add a little shoulder mobilization. Let's roll that top arm. Big juicy circle. And our next big juicy circle is going to take us down to the mat. We can take hands on either side of the right foot. And we're going to step forward into forward fold, steadying ourselves for the other side. So now we take our right foot back, and we're coming up into warrior one. Any kind of warrior one we know and love. If we like that option of hands at heart, to be more in tune with our heartbeat, fantastic. It can help us better feel our breath in our chest as well. If we notice our balance is wavering, let's check in. Are our core muscles doing our job? Do we have our own back in our core strength? We open to warrior two. Hand over foot, hand over foot. Confidence here, we slice. Can we move the upper body independently from the lower body? Fantastic. Let's slice all the way forward, and then we reverse our warrior up and back, lateral flexion. Maybe we want to sneak a peek. Are our legs still where we asked them to be? Or do they have a mind of their own? For some variety, we can look towards the back leg. We'll come back through center. We can take hands to hips, straightening the front leg, adding a little attitude to that back hip. And we're ready for triangle. We're reaching forward. We don't have to go very far to still feel the sides of our waist kick in and get some inner thigh stretch. But don't let me tell you how to do it. Maybe you're having a totally different experience. We could use a block or a chair, a lower spot on the leg, reset our alignment somehow, bend the knee, or we might just be hanging out in warrior two for today, skipping this one entirely, right? When we're ready, big juicy circles. And our next big juicy circle is going to take us all the way down. Let's come into forward fold. I'm going to turn again so I can see you a bit better. We can hold our elbows, do a little sway side to side, give our heads a shake. Nodding our head yes. We can repeat our affirmation or intention to ourselves here. I am worthy, I am enough. Choosing words that feel like a good fit. To make our way back to mountain, we can slowly reverse that swan dive. And again, bring hands to heart. All right, let's come into our balance here. Let's start with our favorite side, whichever side we feel is good. So we're going to train success. I naturally feel like I want to come onto this side. I feel this is my good strong side today. I'm going to stay here. We know we can kickstand, have the feet wider, or gently draw the leg up to the thigh. Let's find a way we can be content with this, right? Remembering our yamas and our niyamas, being honest with ourselves. We might like to have hands still at heart to feel our heartbeat slowing down. Or we might like a little freedom of expression in our tree, saying yes to what is. Let's be here now. Now, if by chance we go as far as we can go, and we only know how far we can go when we go too far sometimes, let's train success. We reset our tree pose, we get a second chance, and then from there, with grace and control, let's bring ourselves back to mountain. All right, so theoretically, we did it good on the first side. We've trained our minds to do it perfectly on the second side. It may be helpful to say to ourselves something like, I'm pretty good at balancing. Don't believe me? Say something like, I'm going to fall any second, and see what happens. Picking a point of focus, breath, heartbeat, posture, or affirmation, yogi's choice. We're breathing, feeling, listening to our bodies. I never fail, I either win or learn. When we have that moment of success, let's say yes to ourselves. Gracefully, we bring our way out of it, and we release. Let's do one more. So let's take hands to hips, and we'll do a dancer's flow, a variation of flamingo. So we can pick again our favorite side, whichever one we feel is a good side to start on. Okay. And then we're going to bend and straighten. Again, we might want to use something to help with our balance. Fun fact, this is an example of reciprocal inhibition. So I'm tightening the back of the leg to help loosen the front of the leg. I'm working my hamstrings to help deactivate my quads. All right, let's lift all the way up. We can stay exactly as we are. We might like to bring arms to T to help us balance. No matter what version of the pose we pick, we are still lengthening the front line of the body. We may like another big juicy circle up, around, and back to hold our ankle, flexing our foot into feet like we would have in mountain pose. We might like to imagine ourselves on the cover of Yoga Journal, a beautiful, graceful dancer. But let's find a way to be content with whatever we've picked here. We train success, right? We find that ah kind of moment, and we're ready to come on out. Okay, the other side. We can take hands to hips, pick a spot on the wall ahead of you. We bend and straighten. We can flex the ankle. All right, when we feel like we've loosened it up, let's go ahead and we either leave the bend, working the back of the leg. It's an active way of doing it. We can give it a big juicy circle, holding the ankle. Or we can hold whatever else is back there. Sometimes if you're wearing shoes or socks, it's a convenient thing to grab onto, or flared pants, wide leg pants. We can hold the pant. Whatever we have is exactly the tool we need to practice with. So let's make sure we're still breathing. Bring it back through center and let it go. We're going to make our way down to the mat. So from the top of our mats, let's inhale, circle sweep overhead. We are exhaling, swan diving forward. Again, yogi's choice, we may like child's or downward facing dog. One is no better than the other. They are just different options. Letting go of any kind of biases we may have about what a good pose is. Child's, down dog, just options. We'll make our way into a variation of boat. So if we're in down dog, we can drop our knees, sit to one hip, and we'll swing our legs around to the front. We can hold behind our thighs and sit tall, or we can have fingers in behind for support. So I would say probably the most important thing is, first of all, that we're here. We made it. Second of all, that we're breathing. Third, our alignment. We want to be comfortable in the pose. Everything else is icing on top of the cake. So maybe this is our boat pose for today. We are anchored. We are attached to the dock. If we want to add on, we can. One hand or one foot. And we can flow. So somebody once described yoga poses to me as taking the bus. Some people never get on the bus. I guess that's if we rest and choose not to do the pose. Some people get off at the first stop, our anchored boat. Some people get off at the third stop, our flowing boat. And some people take it all the way to the end of the line, lifting arms and legs together. Choosing something we feel good about. Something that we think, okay, I can trust my body's infinite wisdom. I'll feel good after class. This is the right choice for me. And to let this go, let's come into butterfly, soles of the feet together, sitting tall to focus more on our posture. We can have fingers in behind us. We are going to do a variation of tabletop or reverse tabletop, reverse plank in a second. So if we want to lean forward, we know that balance is coming. Can we try softer here? Rather than trying harder, let's invite softness into the body. Noticing any areas that we're holding on, areas of congestion, tension, tightness. Maybe just mentally unclenching them, but wherever the mind goes, the body usually follows. We'll return to seated and draw the legs together. And then let's come into staff, maybe moving some meat from our seat. We may even like a bit of a bend in our legs here still. Let's do what I call sunbather's pose. So we can take our hands behind us, or possibly fingertips to help us sit upright. A flat hand ideally pointing either side to side or towards the front edge of the mat. For safety's sake, we just don't want to flip the hands around to the back edge of the mat. Lifting our hearts here, imagining the warmth of the sun. And then of course we do have our other options like reverse tabletop or incline plank, if those are in our repertoire for today. But again, let's think of this as nourishment. How can we best feed our body, mind, and soul? There is no hierarchy of poses. Wherever you are, that is the fullest expression. Finding a way to stay, breathe, and then see what may open. Knowing we can always come out of the pose early. If it feels good, we can give it another round of breath. And then we're ready to come into straddle. So we can take our feet out wide into what I call spider pose. This is what my niece called it when she was in preschool. You know, we have legs like a spider. So this can be a great way to release tension in our thighs, is to start with a bend in the joint. Again, we might like fingertips in behind to focus on our posture. But rather than the tail tucking under, let's keep it neutral. So if we can feel those bones of our butt making contact with the earth, perfect. If we feel just our cheeks or our sacrum on the mat, we might need to bend the feet more. You may even need to roll your mat up to give you a bit more lift on top of it. And let's wait for an invitation. Do we feel an invitation from our bodies to come forward, to straighten the legs, or perhaps to find a different variation, or even skip this pose? So we're breathing, we're feeling, we're listening to our bodies, and now responding appropriately. And it's okay, sometimes our bodies speak in a language we don't completely understand, so we can try a new way, see how that fits. So we can play in the pose, knowing that we are all a beautiful work in progress. Let's scan the body head to toe. Can we accept what is? Can we surrender? That may mean surrendering to tension, no longer fighting against it. Maybe surrendering to be here now, not focusing on past or future. Surrendering to whatever is causing us some resistance in the moment. Feels like an invitation to come out of this pose. Let's come into a comfortable seated position. And of course, seated may mean on the floor, on a block, on a chair, but we're going to do a seated breath practice. So let's find a way to sit that we feel, yeah, I can breathe pretty easily. Start with our 3-part breath, maybe hand to belly or chest. Observing the natural ebb and flow of our breath and our heartbeat. And I'll invite you to join me in Chandra Veda, sometimes called our moon breath or our sleepy breath. So we're gonna make it so that our left nostril is dominant. The easy way, just go ahead and plug your right nostril. then we can breathe normally. If we would like to do it the fancy way, we can make our surfer dude mudra, or take our first 2 fingers to our forehead. Or again, sometimes the easy way is to plug your nose like you're about to jump into the pool. Either way, we're going to keep our left nostril dominant. So we plug the right nostril to breathe in. We switch to breathe out. So we're inhaling left, exhaling right. Inhaling left, switch, exhaling right, switch. And even though we've got all this coordination going on, we're breathing comfortably. We can use our 3-part breath to help out, or again, use counting. Inhaling 1, 2, 3. Exhaling 3, 2, 1. Slowing down the count so that you can get enough air. Slow and steady flow of breath. Encouraging a healthy flow of life. Noticing anywhere we might be gripping or holding in the body. Can we try softer here? We'll give it a couple more rounds of breath. Allowing those sleepy left nostril feelings to come into the body. Feeling calm, soothed, cooled down. And I'll let you know where we're going. We're going to transition into pigeon. You may like a typical upright pigeon from down dog or all fours, sweeping one leg forward. So if that is yogi's choice, go for it. Otherwise, I'll lead us through a sleeping pigeon on our backs. So from supine, if we choose to be supine, of course. For sleeping pigeon, we can take right ankle over left thigh. This may be perfect, a very passive, restorative, deep sleeping pigeon. We may choose to thread the needle behind the left thigh and pull in, creating some muscular energy in the ankle to draw it into neutral, like mountain pose. We may hold knee and heel, again keeping that flex in the foot. We may choose to cradle the baby if that feels right. So the crease of the elbow to the blade of the foot, giving our leg a big sturdy hug. A moment for self-care, self-love. So lots of options. Let's focus in on the sensation that we get from them. So today I'm feeling very passive. I'm going to go for this extra lazy pigeon, knowing that I'm still moving the muscles in the direction of a pigeon pose, but getting the benefit of less upper body work. So my upper body can rest, which is really nice after spending so much time on the computer lately, I don't really want my hands to do a heck of a lot of work. So that's always an option, right? We can just choose more restful poses. Eventually unwinding ourselves, unpretzeling our pigeons, and we're ready for the other side. The other side may need something completely different, right? Just due to the nature of living in a human body, one side of the pelvis is going to be different, one leg's going to be different. Like we can't step in the same river twice, right? Our bodies are different day to day, stretches different one side to the other. Let's see how this side feels. We can stay in our passive, deep sleeping pigeon. We can thread the needle. We can keep that muscular energy in our left foot flexing. Maybe we release opposite leg, cradle the baby. Do we decide to stir the pot? Maybe just for today, trying something different for the sake of variety, getting out of the same old, same old. If we notice any unnecessary muscular tension, we can invite it to melt away. It may or may not, but the invitation still stands. And when we feel that the second side just about matches the first side, we can make our way out. So if you're still in your upright pigeon, come on and join us supine. We might like again to do knees to chest. And I'll invite us into a single knee to chest. So let's start with the right leg. We'll give the right leg a big hug. This is supposed to help stimulate digestion. So the way digestion happens, things move from the right side to the left side. So if you're ever feeling things aren't quite in the flow, this could be one way to help. So we apply pressure thigh to belly, and we can release. We could even do a bigger release, letting the foot plant, and then a big hug in, letting the foot plant, and a big hug in. Another thing that's great for digestion is twisting. So let's bring right leg in. When we release and let it go, we're going to press down to lift our hips so we can come to lie on the left side of the pelvis and make our way into a supine twist. So our left hand can draw our right knee across. We might be happier stacking our knees instead. Our right hand can reach up and away, and maybe we feel good turning the head to look away from the knees. We'll use a little bit of strength in the belly to bring us back through center. And we reset. Let's draw knees to chest, giving ourselves a big hug. We'll let the right leg go. We give the left leg a big hug. So we can hug and release, hug and release. We might even like to let it go further away. But Theoretically, we've moved our digestion, our physical things that we were digesting, yesterday's food or breakfast. Now we're pressing on the left. The next time we release, we let the left leg go. We can press down, so we're hip shifting to the left, coming onto the right side of the pelvis, making our way into a comfortable twist. Arms may come to T. We may do a very small range of motion twist, more like a windshield wipe. No matter what option we pick, let's be here now. Let's stay present. Can we stay with the sensations of our twist? Maybe it feels delicious and juicy and we're enjoying it. Fantastic. If not, can we find a way to be okay with this? Can we tweak it? Can we still make it a good experience? And if it's not a good experience, maybe it can be an interesting experience. We're going to make our way back through center. And again, a moment to reset. Maybe a long stretch. Knees to chest, knees to nose, windshield wipe, maybe a gentle bridge here. And we make our way into final relaxation. We can take our feet wider than the mat, palms up wider than the mat if we're feeling fairly conventional. We could also lie on our side, coming into baby pose. You may have another favorite pose for final relaxation. As long as we are relaxing, we're still in the vein of final relaxation, right? Let's bring our awareness to the surface beneath us. Noticing all the points of contact between our bodies and whatever's underneath you. The mat, the floor, if you've opted for a chair, just noticing that contact. Noticing this external support provided simply because gravity exists. And let's allow our bodies to accept this support. So we don't need to hold ourselves here in relaxation. We can surrender to gravity. Noticing any areas that we're gripping. And inviting our physical bodies to relax. We'll finish with a body scan here. Let's start at the soles of our feet. Bringing our awareness to the soles of our feet. Noticing any sensation that's going on there. So maybe feelings of temperature. And no matter what we notice, we can still affirm ourselves. So we may think something like, my feet are cold. And we follow that up with something like, but I'm okay, or I accept myself. Noticing all the sensation in feet, toes, and ankles. And we can name that experience, name that awareness without judgment. I'm noticing a tingling in my feet. I love my body. As always, choosing words that feel like a good fit for you. Let's draw the awareness up, lower leg, knee, and thighs. What kind of sensation is going on there? No matter what, we reaffirm ourselves. I'm okay. I love and accept myself. Or even simply, I allow for this experience. Coming up to the pelvis, noting all sensation, opening our awareness, and bringing our minds into a place of safety. I'm okay. I accept myself. Maybe even words like, I'm noticing tension in my pelvis, but I open myself up to loving my body. Bringing awareness up into our torso, belly, and back. Repeating this process, noticing and reaffirming. Drawing awareness up to chest and shoulders. No matter what we notice here, it's possible to love ourselves, accept ourselves, or maybe just saying, I am safe. Maybe just saying, I am. I'm noticing some tenderness in my left shoulder. I am here now. Drawing awareness down the length of the arms. Out to our fingertips. Noting, reaffirming. Drawing awareness up to neck, face, and head. Noticing, reaffirming. Bringing into awareness the whole body, not just the physical body, but our emotional body, our thoughts, our energy. We may like to cross arms over chest, giving ourselves a hug, picturing ourselves in perfect, balanced health, radiating beauty and vitality from the inside out. This is our light we share with the world, and who are we not to shine? Let's finish with one final body positive thought or self positive thought. This may be our intention, maybe our affirmation, I am worthy, I am enough, or maybe something else that comes to mind now. Repeating it to ourselves here, sending ourselves some love. We'll stay in this space for about a minute more. And then let's join together in a seated position to finish.